Good morning. So let's see what happened here pre-market. We'll go over to the more broader spectrum of the activity tonight. And you can see here, let me give you a brief description of my screens here. I'm a uniRenko trader, which is on NinjaTrader. I have coded this thing for my own use for my setups, but I think that it's useful for anybody else that happens to be trading, and that's what I'm trying to present to you guys. I have three different trends here. I have a major trend in red, I have a minor trend in teal, and of course price here. I did have a third one, but I've decided to use price as the third one, which I'm going to call the minor trend. And as you can see, I have marks that automatically show up when there's a break of structure on each one of the trends. I get a boss on the major trend. I get an I boss on the strategic trend. The strategic trend is the one that I use to play off of, and I like to know where I am relative to the major trend. And as you can see, we are in a slow grind to the all-time high here, and overnight traffic has been to the upside, and my strategic trend is in a bullish mode at the moment. We have these numbers up here represent the fib in relationship to its prior move. So they're all color coded. Red, of course, is my major trend, and we're at 76% right now of the prior leg down. 149% of the prior leg down on the strategic trend, but the strategic, of course, is a much smaller. Now, the other thing about this is I have these projection dots here, which only represent where the next leg will be a solid line. I use ATR as my guidepost for how big my moves I want to show on my trends, but I don't restrict it to that. For instance, this one right here had reached this projection dot right here, but it did not go back 24 points to form a new line, so it just continues on until it does. What else can I tell you about this screen? Oh, I also keep track of dynamically the overnight, which is blue. I have the open and the close price from the day before or today. I have yesterday's low. I have day before yesterday's low. I have yesterday's high. And somewhere around here, I've got the day before yesterday's high, which is right up here. And those are just reference points for me. If I'm in a trade, then I will use those as possible TP areas. All right, so that's, as you can see, I think I've already said that we've been in an upward trajectory all night. And if we look into the details, by the way, this is the uniRenko chart. It's 2/20/10. Each, well, I'll get into the details of. So on this chart here, it's identical to the other chart in that it's a 2/20/10 configuration. but I've expanded it to just look at this much information as opposed to, the last 3 days. So for me, as I said, my minor trend is in an upward trajectory, and so I am of a bullish mind. But I also play the game where I want it to have a bigger pullback than just these two little bars, which this is not a bad signal. It's a pullback in a pretty good trend, but this can happen, which is would stop me out. By the way, each one of these bars represents $5 from top to bottom on the ones with the wicks. The other ones are $2.50, and the distance between each bar is 2 ticks. So for me, I'm a scalper, and I do a $2 move. For instance, today my goal is $300 today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paper trade, and because of course, I'm just starting this. So yesterday I started it and I missed my trade. So I'm now going to try and incorporate both things in at a pace so that I can see that I can do both things at once. I don't want to miss my trades and screw up my freaking profit margin. But I don't know that I can do both things at once. Apparently, I screwed up yesterday, so let's start it up again and see what happens. Anything else? Everything here is paper trading. I'm not going to be doing any real trading until I feel comfortable with my ability to do both. So right now, as I said, I'm sitting here waiting for the pullback to the projection dot so that I can, that doesn't mean I'm trading there, but it means that, for instance, this here is resistance, or I should say support, and I'm looking for, the possibility of a little manipulation below that, because here's the 50% on the move up on the strategic trend. Here's the 50% on the major trend, but it can move that far, but I don't want it to. I'm thinking I'm going to be taking something in this area here, and we'll see how that plays out later on, whether I do it or not. Right now we're at the overnight high. We're off of the overnight high, which is of course this one, and on the way down, we have support, which happens to be right where that projection dot is of yesterday's high. So this right here, right now, is yesterday's high. This is dynamic. It doesn't stay in this one position. If we go up some more, it'll move up with it. That's a 12-point moving dot for me. So as I said earlier, I am the coder behind all these, this system I've generated. And what I do is I keep track of all the swings as well. So I export the data as soon as they happen, and they go into I put them into a spreadsheet where I create statistics based on all the information that is gathered at that time, which happens to be where am I in the major trend, where am I in the strategic trend, and just to see how they perform and who's moving where and when would be the best time to get in, statistically speaking. All right, we're coming down to that projection dot. Which happens to be yesterday's high. You can see here we've had two levels of support that are there for us to reference later on. What I would be looking for here is this bar to come back up and hit the 82.75, which would indicate to me that we are reversing from this little down leg here. And that's an early entry for a move to the upside. But I personally wait for a pullback, which this here is what I'd be looking for. A little wick that comes down. I don't care about the size too much, although I do measure the veracity of such a thing. But I like the first move down, little pullback. And this is my strategy that I can click on a particular place and it knows to put it at the top of any particular bar, which would be represented by this number right here. This, or down, is this one. By the way, you'll notice over here in this corner, I have indications of which strategy is in what personality at the time. And this is just a piece of information that I want to know because of the statistics that I can roll with. So on the overnight, we've reached 76% of fib wise on the move down from yesterday. It's trying to find support at this yesterday's high. Let's see how far they got to eat into this. All right, we're coming up to support from earlier this morning, 74.25. If we go through there, it's probably going to be manipulation, I'm hoping. And I would expect it to break here and then just give me an up bar if it is. Otherwise, we have support down here at the 50% on the major trend at 62.50, and after that, 54.25. If you're of the short mind, then you would want to think about taking profits at those levels. For me, I'm sticking my guns on the trend and the strat trend, which is my trading trend, and I'm only looking for long setups for the current until such time as we go below the overnight low, which is at 54.25. We're coming down to yesterday's close, which is around 71.25, and could be the area where we'll bounce. If you're of a short mind, although I can't imagine why, then this would be that would be a good place to take profits. It might fall through there, in which case you could pick it up again and continuing on to the day before yesterday's low, which is 58 even. By the way, this is a break of structure on the minor trend, my minor trend, mind you. So the minor trend is in a bearish mode at the moment. So for me, I would not consider a long right now until the minor trend went back into a bullish mode. We've got about 7 minutes till the open. So we've had a beautiful downtrend in the on the 5 minute, which I don't play off of this at all, but I put it up here to entertain myself. The we'll see if that at the open whether they're tired of it going down and they want to take it up or not. This would be a very good spot for them to do that because you've already had manipulation here, so it's got people like me thinking there's no way I'm going to take it along here. If I were to look at my statistics, which I'm not going to do for a little while, but if when I get a crowd in here, I'll start looking at what's the percent of success rate if this bar were to engage at a lead up of 33 bars. And I could even do it to the penetration rate here. So if it went below, if it broke through what I'm going to call double IBOS, how many are, what's the percentage of successful uptrends from there? Three 3 minutes till the open. Okay, we're about to open up, and we are still sitting at, well, we're right below the yesterday's close, more or less right at it, which is 39% of the total move up on the major trend. So it's a pretty good pullback. But if you're playing the major trend, you might want to wait until that projection dot is hit, which indicates that this leg is in fact a down leg, because until that hits, the red line will stay up at the top at the highest value, and this will become just a long leg of the trend down. Okay, there we are. So we're still battling at this the yesterday's close. There we go. That's a change in direction for the minor trend, but it looks like a 1 bar pullback if this fails, and it'll try and go to the 50%. So if this is a successful up bar, I would consider this the first pullback in the up leg. And if I were, if my strat trend was up in the up direction, I would take this. Or excuse me. I've just noticed that I have my one of my charts on MES, and it's showing me a that I had an IBOS on the strat, which right at the moment is a little confusing. So if that were this bar here was the one that you went in on because of this pullback, you would want, well, if I had had 4 bars, I would have hit my profit objective, my profit target, and made I'm doing 3 contracts, and I'm looking, me personally, I'm looking for 2 points, and that would be my $300 objective. looking like a good second pullback as well. What I would do if I were a swing trader is I'd put my stop, attach it to this indicator right here, which is my envelope of these prices, and it would just trail right behind each candle or bar until you were stopped out, which would be about $5 off the high. 5 points. The reason that these bars didn't form is I have this wick set to a very, like, 3 points on the dial so that I can see them better. They would otherwise be like this, and I'm into looking at them right now. So this does not, where this wick ends does not represent what this line is about. But if if I did turn it down to 1 point, this would then be above that line. So I personally consider this manipulation because it did penetrate my minor trend. And this is double I boss for me, just to get the vernacular out of the way. And so when it changed course, that's when I established that would be a manipulation as opposed to the trend, because we had a good sized pullback and continued on. So if otherwise, it would probably just go up and then turn right back around. So if your order is attached to this to my envelope, you're in it until it hit 80.75 if you're trailing it. And we are coming up to resistance at 89.75, which would be the overnight high. So in the land of the longs, you would have been stopped out if you were doing the trailing. But also, a 2-bar pullback is high in the probabilities spectrum. And it still has that 90 as the objective of this move. So if you're trying to get a 20-point move, you want to get it down here in anticipation of it coming up to the next area of resistance. If you're a scalper, you just take the first pullback and you can make some money that way. If you're only looking for a few points, then and knowing that this is the end of or the probable end right now of 90, as you can buy it on the way after, as when it establishes an up candle or bar, and travel it up to put your TP at the 90 level. This is where uniRenko really tops out the 1 in the 5 minute. I can be on this one candle or bar for any length of time as long as it's within that $5 range. And you'll see on the 1 minute that if it stays, it can go up and down in that $5 and stretch that out of perspective. And that's why I like the uniRenko. So if you were of a short mind, don't know why you would be, this would be your first pullback on the down leg. And you would want to put your resting order here while this was being formed. You get triggered in and write it down for what could be. You have support at 68. You have a 50% fib on the prior move at 77.75. So any one of those could be the end of the run. This turns, it didn't hit my projection dot, which would this would not be a leg to the downside in the trend, in the strategic trend. Another good pullback in the down leg. Once again, the strat trend is up, so I'm only taking longs. And for this, it did hit the projection dot on the down leg of the strat, which is what I look for in my trades. So at least hit the dots. If it goes down further, I'll take it under advisement as far as how deep I'll accept. But as long as it doesn't go through the support, right now I'm happy. If you are short, it is battling around that 50% fib on the prior move. And that is always a good part, a good spot to take profits. You'll also notice that the 50% fib is now, because it's made the down leg complete, it has moved the mark of the 50% to the down leg. So this is not the 50% of this leg, it's the 50% of this leg. We're also bouncing around the yesterday's high of 77.50. So that's also a good spot for TP. All right, so I am thinking that I want a little pullback here, and I'm going to, what time is it? 9:47. I'm going to put a resting long in here. This is paper trading. I'm trying to see if I can do both. Am I seeing things differently as a result of streaming than I do normally? So I'm going to take this. If it does not come and complete this bar down, if it does, then I'm changing my mind. Nice strong move down. If you're of a short mind, once again, if we the first pullback is always the best, and we have not had one yet. You will see a candle up here. I mean a wick. Sorry, wick. So if you're short, this is a good spot to take profits, at least some of them. You don't have to sell them all, but as long as this candle hasn't formed. And the minor trend is in a downward mode at the moment. It's bear mode, which has me thinking about what I want to do right now. Looking like they want to have it continue down to test that support area. If you're of the long mind, this is the first pullback in the newly developing strat leg up. I don't know why you would be considering it, because, as I said, the minor is in a downward slope. So you'd want to at least have the minor going in your direction of the that you want to trade in. So right now I'm looking at 83.25 is where that would turn back to a bullish mode. If you are a more aggressive trader, then of course you would consider this a your execution bar and be writing it up. Or if you were less aggressive, you would take the pullback if you think that this is in fact going to be the support for the day, or at the time being anyway. So this pullback here, if you were to be in the long, this would not be executable until the 76, 75 area. If it makes this bar before hitting that, then it's off. It's still going in the downward direction. And it's looking like, well, can't tell right now. It's 50-50. But a one bar pullback is generally pretty good in the statistics area. Okay, so we've made a lower high, so we are now busting through that, and my minor is in a uptrend. So for me now, I would consider a pullback as a buy opportunity for me. Nice thrust up though. And here we are hitting the projection dot, which makes this a legitimate up leg. All right, this is a pretty good pullback. I'm hoping it'll give me a little tick to the wick. But if you're very aggressive, you could put your resting order right at the blue, and take it with this as a significant enough. If you feel that's a significant enough pullback, but the trend is going to be your friend. So my trade did not come to fruition, but one bar pullbacks are pretty darn good, and you're talking 87 is profit objective. So you can see here that we're just kicking around between this strat high and this one here, the low of 68, and it looks like we are experiencing some difficulty here going up. So this I find it interesting that I've never put ES on here. I've always used MES, and I've had a break of structure to the downside and am trending down there, but it's not showing me the same results in ES, which it's just an interesting observation at the moment. So this leg here is just a continuation of the strat up leg that where you see the dot. If it didn't hit this one, so it didn't become a legitimate leg down. But in the minor trend, this would be a continuation of this move here. So you've got the swing here that would be the strategic, but it's also the minor trend low. And you can see here that we're getting higher lows, and this would be a break to a continuation break to the upside. This is a pretty tight range this morning, and I want some direction. Damn it, let's go. I'm sitting here thinking that I missed my move. I would have taken that tick right there. We were in the strat is up, and so is my minor. I'm kicking myself right now, and this is not good. So this confirmation of continuation to the upside, heading towards that resistance area at 87. Let's see if we can make it. until we go below the 70-75 area. This is still in a swing up on the minor trend. Major still up as well. Strat trend is still up. Bouncing around the 50% fib on the prior leg up. For me personally, I want to see it to hit the projection dot before I were to consider taking the trade from here. But as long as the minor trend is not going below the 70-75, that's still going in the right direction and going to be testing the 87.50 area. So depending on which time frame you're on, this is just a big pullback, like this little candle here. It's all relative to what time frame you're actually looking at. All right, testing this area here on the minor. Might be ready to test the downside again. But this is a real tight range. We're not doing much of anything really. They're only giving you 2.5 points on either way. So if you are not a scalper, you surely don't want to be in this type of market. Break a structure on the minor, coming down to test the low of the last move up in the strat trend. So now you see it's going to red, which we have a break of structure. This puts all the elements in line, and we have confluence to the downside. The red line there is the 50% fib on the move up on the major trend. So this one here is one of my favorite moves. We've changed the IBOS, and I would take, I'm looking for a pullback here. And I would put in a resting short as soon as I get a wick. Wow, that was fast. I did not get in because of the, it just took it way too fast for me to even put it in. But of course, I wish I had, because damn, that was a good move. Still have opportunities for it to pull back, and it's a new move. I'm looking for support to have some sort of reaction at 58. And we just hit 50% on the major move prior leg up. Now, if I was, I'm thinking right now that they know, whoever they are, that they got orders right here at 68, and that happens to be where most people would be putting their break-even orders. And sometimes you'll sit here and you'll watch it, and it'll come right back to about a tick away from that, taking people's stops out. But not today. This is really moving. We're at the well, we just went through yesterday's day before yesterday's high, heading down towards the overnight low at 54. Good TP if you're on the short side. All right, I'm going to put resting short order here. This is giving me a wick that, and if it continues down, I want to be on this trade, even though it's moved quite a bit. And I do have a couple of little wicks here that, in that I missed. Really, they were just too quick. No way I could have gotten on that. All right, so that didn't work out, and the order goes away. It's a matter of how much pullback you want. For me now, I would want to achieve this projection dot on the strat trend. Then I'd wait for a continuation. Really, it's how much profit are you going to make between here and wherever this bar happens to be created. If you are a scalper, between 58 and that's about $2 or 2 points. I mean. And for each bar it goes up, it just increases the amount that you have potentially to get down to this the last swing. So it's more or less, you're going to have to say, all right, punk, I think that 24% of the last move is good enough for me. And if this bar is established to the downside, I want to try and take this for that profit. That would be something you could do because everything is pointing in the down fashion. But once again, I like to at least have the pullback to the projection dot. This is a nice pullback. You got the 50% fib on the move down leg of the major. So because I've reached my projection, I'm looking for a candle down with a little pullback on the next one or so. .50% fib, and we're battling around the open, but we're looking strong to the upside. Coming up to yesterday's high at 77.75. If you're of the long attitude, this is a pretty much a first pullback on the up leg of the strat. And your objective would be the 85 area. For me, I'm playing the downside. I'm following the trend. When this IBOS was broken, you notice that my bars turned red, which are telling me that we're in a downtrend on the strat and the major. So I'm only looking for shorts. If it goes through the resistance at about 84.50, that will be a break in structure to the upside for the strat. which would put us back in the lime green area. And I don't normally, I don't, it's very cautious when I trade there. So we hit the projection dot on the major trend, which would make confirm this up leg, and it's there. And that if we do start down, this would be a lower high, and would be a continuation of that major trend down. So now I'm looking for a pullback of some sort. If you're real aggressive, then any one of these pullbacks, as long as you have your stop on the other side of 78, 75, if you're good to go for taking that short. For me, I want to see a little wick, is just a little stronger pullback, and and then I'd have my resting order there, which looks like we're about to see. So once again, this is all paper trading. I'm trying to learn how to live with streaming and trading. So I am doing all paper trades until I hope it's a short time, because quite frankly, I'm not making money while I'm doing this to see if I can do this. So that didn't work out. So it becomes just a continuation, and looks like they want to go up and check out the 85 area. Once again, while it could go up here and test this 85 area, me personally, would not take a long while the trends are down. I want to be with those trends. if you're scalping and thinking there's enough profit in here for you in this downtrend, but it happens to be an up leg of the downtrend, this would have been your first pullback, and you would ride this up until you hit your TP at 85. All right, so we are doing an IBUS again to the upside now on the strat. And let me show you something on my long range picture here. We are coming back to the overnight high. We've broken through these three support areas, or resistance areas, I'm sorry, and we're bouncing off the overnight high at the moment. But this would be a change in structure for the major as well. We're sitting right here at the overnight and would change all of the trends to the up. So this dash dot line here is an indication of the break of structure, which happens to be way over here. So if I pull this back a bit, you'll see that it actually happened right here. And I don't have to have that in frame to know that now I've got both trends, all three trends in the up, and I changed the color of my bars to the darker green. So I'm thinking only longs right now. Well, it's streaming and trading is not doing too well for me. I seem to be making little mistakes, which keep me out of trades. I would have been in this one from the top of this level here. I have not hit the profit objective yet, but I'm pretty confident in it right now. So this one here would be my pullback, the first pullback, and I would be up 3 ticks right now. So even my paper trading is not doing too well. All right, I'm at my profit objective now, and I would have been out. So if you did get in this trade at the pullback here, you're more of a day trader type, or want to hold it for a longer profit, use this envelope here as the stop point. It's $5 off the high, but until this bar is made, you're still going up. Or if you don't feel like you want to risk that much of your profits, because break even is right here. I don't recommend break even type settings, but you could set it there, and if it comes back and takes you, fine. Which would be, you can attach, excuse me, I'm going to have to put an order out here to show you, but you can attach to this line here and add $2 or 2 points to it, and boom, you would have been hit. But that's a feature of NinjaTrader. So this is a bigger pullback in the to the uptrend. The miner's still intact until way down here at 73.25 currently. All right, this is a continuation bar to the upside once it hits the 96.75. And you can expect, gosh, we got a lot of blue sky here until, well, we have one point it's at 98.50 that might cause you a little agita. But after that, it's the all-time high. And I'm going to end the stream right here because I am hoping to see if I can make a trade without streaming. So you guys have a good weekend. I hope to have some visitors next time, and we'll see you then.